Welcome to the Side Action Podcast, the sports gambling show that covers everything in the world of sports betting from A through Z. We'll cover the four major sports, as well as anything and everything in between worth some action, and will increase the size of your bankroll. And here we go.
All right, welcome to the Side Action, episode 23 of season 7. My name is what's my name? My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on X and on Instagram.
Nice. Well done. Good save. That's why they pay you the big bucks. And I'm Coop.
Sure.
You can check on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. I think our TikTok page is still alive. I don't know
It's
if
alive.
It is or not. So
it was down for 14 hours. I know you were worried about it, but it's back, baby.
I was wondering what was going to happen with you. You know, if we lost the TikTok. So
I was researching other avenues, and luckily, all the TikTok hullabaloo is BS, and I knew it would be. So
nice.
Us, my fellow talkers out there, we're alive.
Yeah, you and the army of bots.
I don't thank Trump, but I thank whoever is paying the bills. So
nice.
Thanks for keeping those servers alive.
Yeah.
So you're a little under the weather. You got the blankie on. You got a sweatshirt. You doing okay over there?
Yeah, I'll be all right. Just need a good night's sleep. Haven't had one of those in like 2 days.
That's big. Yeah, sleep is big. A little Zicam. I heard that shortens colds and flus. I don't know. It's just like
oh yeah, I'm doing everything under the sun.
Yeah. So you must have had a big week last weekend. Obviously, there were some parties. You were singing your heart out on Saturday, right?
I love some karaoke. Yeah. Usually when we go to my buddies, I was trying to tell like Linnea that because she was like, "Well, you didn't sing karaoke the first time." And I was like, "Well, you gotta remember when you go to my buddies, like everybody in the bar wants to sing karaoke. So your chance of getting a karaoke, like if you don't know the person in charge, you're probably not gonna be able to sing. So, but like at Lincoln Park, it's much more secluded. It's more it's almost like no one wants to sing karaoke. It's like the opposite. LOL.
Yeah.
So
Lincoln karaoke. It's like we're just sitting around amongst friends. There's somebody grabbing the mic and
whoever knows how to work the tablet.
She was busting moves. She was singing it up. She was getting all the songs in.
Oh yeah, it was
nice to see her.
Yeah, it was a night. It was a long night because we got home at we drove back to the burbs.
Yeah. Oh, you did that night?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we had to hit. Somebody wanted McDonald's, so we hit McDonald's up, and then by the time we got home, it was like 2:30, give or take.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I hear you. Well, I had the two parties that night. First was the Stanford party, which was pretty fun. I mean, unfortunately, they didn't set up the bars right, so we got on this bus after Nisei is a great place. Had a bunch of people, probably 30, 40 people in there. We went to Rainbow Club, which is a little crappy bar in Wicker Park, cash only. We got off the bus and they're like, "We can't accommodate all you guys." So half the group got in, half the group ran up the street to enjoy. So we were split, which wasn't great. And then I ended up meeting you guys. Sunday, obviously played some D-ball, but Monday I got to tell you about Rivers, dude, and it kind of factors into what we're talking about later. So we went to Rivers, just me and Optimus Prime, aka Primetime Murphy, and I haven't rolled the bones since we went to Vegas, dude. And so anyway, fairly full table. Wasn't doing great. Then I get my chance, and first of all, when Jimmy Legs is throwing short, you're gonna get some money because when I throw short, if I don't hit the wall, I always throw good numbers. And I just get warned until like I'm at the brink, and then I finally just hit the wall a little bit. So I had a first good roll, it was pretty good. But then we go around the table and we get cleaned out. And Art was like down to his last chips, and I think he was in for like $600. I was in for $400. I had a limit. I'm like, I got a budget. I am on a budget right now. So anyway, I wanted to leave a little bit of money for the game, and we just were going to watch the championship game. And I don't, whatever. I'm not going to bet on Ohio State. I mean, I'm going to root for the Irish. It's not about winning money today. Just 3-1. Why not? Also bet the under. Whatever. So anyway, we watched the game, and the game's basically over right away. We can get in that in a minute. But I don't know why we stayed. We stayed a little bit, and all of a sudden, Art's like, "I'm hungry. I'm going to get some food." Okay, get some food. He gets another drink. I'm not even drinking. So I'm just like, so when they obviously, we'll talk about that in a minute, what happened in the game. Game wraps up. We're leaving, and I'm like, And I got no money, bro. I lost all of the money I brought. Like, a good thing I budgeted. Exactly the number I brought, it is gone for my wallet. This dude's like, I just want to go to tables again. I'm like, all right, you do it. I don't have any more money, Art. Go for it, brother. So then dude goes,
He gets hot.
typical prime time, dude. This
He
is
gets
prime
hot.
time. He has a horseshoe up his ass. No, wasn't even him. He steps on the table. Right before he steps out, guy craps out. Next shooter shoots for like 70 minutes, bro.
Oh my
He
god.
turned $400 into $4,000.
Hell yeah.
Primetime Murphy. He's just pounding the numbers. He said he built up the 6, 8, and 9 to 250 each. Okay. Like he's getting hit 350, boom, like 2,800 or 280 and 350 every time it hits. I mean, I'm like, dude, he wrote it in the morning and he felt
Hell
bad.
yeah.
I'm sorry you had to leave. I'm like, dude, it's okay. It's your money, dude. Keep the money. Like, you did great. He's like, yeah, like, I didn't know. I just walked up the first shooter, Dalton, the first friggin' shooter, dude. He walked out of there like 12:30 because he was there for an hour plus. So he felt bad. I'm like, dude, don't feel bad. That is incredible. But of course, you get a
Hell
horseshoe
yeah.
up your ass. I mean, primetime should be called horseshoe up the ass primetime. But I know he's a listener,
yeah.
so good for him. So he's obviously, he did buy dinner. He bought me a lunch that day. I don't feel bad about it now. But anyway, primetime Murphy, the guy's unstoppable.
Yeah, he's a grinder. You know what I mean?
He's a grinder.
He's a grinder, and grinders get rewarded. You know, iron sharpens iron. The job's
You
not
just got to
finished.
stay there for the one guy. It's just the
Yep.
one guy. And
Yep.
that's what it was. I was almost the one guy, but I crapped out. This guy went all the way, kept it going. So anyway,
No high
that was-
lows. Were you any high
No
lows in
high.
that 70 minutes?
Well, he did. Okay, so I heard that's what he said. He said he got the uppers twice.
Wow.
So he got the bigs twice, but he did not get the lows.
Gotcha.
He did not get it. He didn't get the 2 the entire time. He didn't get the aces the entire time.
That's
So
crazy.
and apparently, this young guy with some cute chick on his arm. I think he was a rookie because the way he was talking about shooting, he was just chucking it down there and just like
It just
underhand
works.
chucking it.
Yeah.
Rookies do well at the craft stable,
Yeah.
dude. So
Yep.
word of the wise, Jimmy Wegs will be back there. Don't know when. May even go this weekend and say screw it because I got to get my money back. But
Nice.
But
Did you wear
anyway,
your
so that's
jacket? Yeah. Did you
I
wear the
did not
jacket?
know. No, the jacket.
That was the problem.
No, I have worn the jacket there. It is ever since I got, and it's right there. I've got it right there across from me on the chair. Ever since I got that stupid friggin' jacket, I have not had a good roll. I've had one good roll since then at Rivers. I'm like, since they gave it, it's like taboo. Like, I got to burn that thing like a ritualistic healing ritual. Where I got hot on the tables here. It's going to get hot right in here. It's going to go right in the dumpster.
I'll bring the trash can over and we can have a nice
But
party.
the kid who did the roll, he got one of these because he got 5. So
Nice.
he had more than 5 points. But in order, what we're talking about, everybody is just we're just talking. There's the fire bet at Rivers, which I love the fire bet. And what the fire bet is, before you start rolling, anybody can bet on the shooter if they get 4 distinct points, meaning the 4, 5, 6, 8, for example. Then they get it pays like I think it's $5 pays like $500. So it's like whatever that is, 100 to 1.
50 to 1 or 100 to 1.
Yeah, 100 to 1. Maybe it's 50 to 1. I think it is 250. And then the next one, if you get a 5th number, so if you went, to the 9, it doesn't have to be in order, but the 9, then you get like $12.50, right? So that goes from $5 from 500 or 250 to $12.50 or something. And then if you got all 6, which is he didn't get it, you get $5,000, right?
Nice.
So that's pretty good, 1,000 to 1. So what he did, I guess, and this is what happened to me when I got my thing too. I got all the 5 numbers, but didn't get the 5th. I had the 10. You lay the 10 at that point, right? Because if the 10 is the number and that's the 6th number, you're going to win $5,000 if you hit it. Instead, you lay it, meaning you put, I don't know what he put. I know I put like 1,000, and it basically pays 1 to 2. So like I put up 1,000, you have to pay a little big, but rough numbers, I got $500 plus the bet back. So even though in my case I crapped out, I still get the 1,500 back in my wallet. So anyway, there you go. There's Craps 101. We'll have another podcast sometime about the craft shooters and Jimmy Wegs burning the.
Yeah, we'll have to bring on Art for that one because he's the actual, he's the professional out of the group here.
He's a grinder, dude. And the thing is, he's like, now I can bet on my horse. So I'm like, he's going, and this kid, I love this guy. We have to have a whole a primetime segment. He's so nervous to get on here. Everybody loves primetime. We're talking about him all the time. He's got a cousin who's got he's got a horse in Ireland. We've already talked about this. He's got a racehorse in Ireland. His cousin has a racehorse down in like Arkansas.
Oh,
So
nice.
he's going to Arkansas this weekend to like watch this horse run. And apparently he's like won a couple races. He could qualify for like a derby race.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, when we get rich, we'll just put a little share on some of Primetime's horses and
the name of the horse better be Side Action. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, Side Action or Primetime. I mean, one of the two, right? Anyway, let's get into the debate. You're welcome, everybody, for the craps talk, and that's what people really want to listen to. So, who are you taking to the shed, Coop? Let's start off. I like your first one for sure. Who are you taking to the shed?
Well, you took all the good ones, I thought.
Sorry, man. I get on there.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You're an early bird. I appreciate that. No, so my first one, I'm taking golf carts to the shed. So
yeah,
I don't know if you saw this or not. Obviously, you just mentioned the Buckeyes won the one national championship. Ryan Day, Will Howard, and others are, taking the golf cart ride, from Atlanta, or I guess in Atlanta, in Mercedes-Benz Superdome Stadium, if you will. They're trying to go to the press conference after the game. They did all the on-field stuff, and the girl driving the golf cart, she's become famous for all the wrong reasons. She's looking at this wall and she's trying to cut the wheel to the left to make a hard left to get them on the path they need to go.
Yeah.
She just runs right up the wall and breaks the axle on the golf cart. So everybody had to walk to the presser. It's just a really funny video. So and everybody was like even jolted. Like Ryan Day was like halfway out of the seat. Like it looked like one of the golf trips that we take and you have too much to drink,
Yeah.
So we're putting golf carts in the shed. And then Jimmy Butler's in the shed. I used to hold Jimmy Butler very near and dear to my heart, but unfortunately it's getting south. It's going south and sour real quick. So he got suspended again for 2 games for conduct detrimental to team functions. And he missed a team flight. So he's missed 9 games in January due to suspension. So he's
is he becoming like Antonio Brown or something? Is he like losing his mind?
No, he's more like Carmelo, to where he's just old. He doesn't know where he fits in anymore, and I mean, he's gone to the finals twice, but he's also he's only made the All-Star team twice in that same span.
Yeah, we need to talk to Courtney. Courtney's got to put in some work down there to try to get him to play better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Jimmy Butler when he was obviously with former Bowl, drafted him, loved him as a Bowl, hard worker. At some point, you just got to just chill, man. You're a veteran. You're making plenty of money. What's the problem? Like, just say you're playing, you're not playing. Yeah, of course he does. We all do. I want a new deal too.
Right.
Can you throw that blanket into the deal? Well, I'll sign it.
No, this is my favorite. No, this is my favorite. I would never.
We're not gonna make the team.
Not for all of King Midas's silver.
Gold. Anyway, okay. So I'm like you. I'm building the shed. We're building the second level of the shed. And this one I know you're mad about because this was yours. The refs of the Kansas City game. Well, let's face it. Can we just touch? We touch Patrick Mahomes. I saw a funny X post where it was like, Buffalo Bills have already been flagged for unnecessary roughness on Patrick Mahomes before the game. I mean, the roughing the passer call was terrible, of course, which I thought you could sort of review it, maybe not can review it. I mean, he definitely hit his shoulder pad first. But the other one was just where he dropped down in a slide just moments before the guys collided, and they somehow still called the penalty. So I don't like that. I also don't like that they had 0 penalties on the Kansas City secondary when it was clear they were grabbing some arms and stuff like that. So we talked about it all season. We'll talk about it later. But Kansas City gets a lot of calls.
Yeah, and just to make the matters even worse, like he tried to get a flop call like after those 2 penalties already. Like yeah, like so he's going out of bounds and he doesn't even really get shoved. He just kind of gets pushed, if anything. But yeah.
Now, do you think that Caitlin Clark, who was up near Taylor Swift, taught him how to do the flop?
Maybe. I actually just found out she was a lesbian, so that was kind of the fun fact I learned about Caitlin Clark recently.
That's fine. Good for her.
Yeah, like I said, nothing wrong. It was just a fun fact,
She is. Yeah, there's plenty of lovely ladies out there.
And she had a stalker too. I don't know if you read about that. We should have put him in the shed. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, terrible. My stalker. Anyway. She's a wonderful person. Okay, so I'm going to put newly head coach for the Jets, Aaron Glenn. Congratulations, you got a job. I don't know how, because you had no answer for Washington and Jaden Daniels. I mean, what's weird is like Goff gets blamed for the loss, but they're giving up like 9.6 yards per pass in this game. I mean, it was like, and especially the tackling. And look, I love Terry McLaurin. He's my guy. Scary Terry's the best, incomparable one. But he like takes like a bubble screen to the house. Like, nobody even touches the dude. Like, there's obviously an issue with this defense. And so, Aaron Glenn, I'm glad you got a job, but you're in the shed right now, sir. Maybe you can visit there on your way to New York, and I'm sure they're gonna. I mean, he's a former Jet, I guess that's why they also hired him. But
Oh yeah.
whatever, dude. He can't. He's not a great defensive coach. I'm telling you. And then Mark Andrews, aka the Hamburglar. Apparently, those big mitts of his aren't good enough to hang onto a football when you're. And he obviously had the sleeveless thing, so that's fine. Hang on to the football. Don't get punched out. But the catch at the end, come on, dude. I mean, it's fine. I don't mind losing the bet. It's not a big deal. I think Baltimore still was a better team. But you can't drop that football. He double dropped it. Coop.
Yeah, he did.
He had it. And he had it again. He's still on his lap. Just let it fall in your lap. And that was a two-point game, and they lost. So
Yeah,
what can you say?
That first fumble was tough too, just because he could have just gone down. Like he was only going to get maybe 3 or 4 extra yards at most, probably from that spin or like that change in direction that he did. But yeah, no, the Ravens beat themselves. It's tough.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's flip it around. Club Dub. We have some room in Club Dub, although it's smaller than the shed right now. The primetime Murphy is going to do some investment. Some of that $4,000 is going to go on a horse this weekend. He's going to build a new champagne bar. So who will benefit from that new champagne bar in Club Dub for you, sir?
Your boy Jane Daniels.
Yes,
definitely.
He's good. Not
yeah,
bad.
real good. And I don't know if you know this or not, but they led the league this year in fourth down conversion percentage at like 87%, which was like 13% higher than Kansas City, who was second. So just craziness.
Sanity.
So yeah, the kid's really good. He's really calm under pressure. He's also the third rookie quarterback in NFL history to win multiple playoff games in his first year. Can you name the other two?
Multiple playoff games, right?
In the same playoff run.
Sean King?
No.
Of Tampa Bay?
No.
He only won one? Ben Roethlisberger?
No, that was not his first postseason.
Oh, I thought he was a rookie. Okay. Let's see.
They're very recent, actually. They were more recent than you would think, yeah.
Okay. Multiple playoff games. I'm going to need it. Go ahead. Give it to me.
Yeah, so the first one's Mark Sanchez of the New York
Sanchez.
Jets.
Well, that's previous. That's before those guys.
And the second one is Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah, sure. Brock Purdy. He did.
So, but yeah, we'll shout out to Jane Daniels. Hope he enjoys the champagne bar.
Yeah, he'll. Well, I think he's a sensible guy, but maybe he goes nuts after the season. Well, I'm going to put the Texans defense in there. I know that they can't. Apparently, they didn't have a scouting report on Travis Kelce. Besides the Travis Kelce thing, who had a ton of yards, he had like over 100 yards receiving. They held Kansas City to 212 yards in the game. They dominated this football game, and they still, even with those stupid penalties, they still were giving up. What was, I guess, technically the points were whatever they scored, 24 points or something. But it was like, come on, like even with that, with the help of the refs, they didn't score that many points. I loved how they played. I mean, Will Anderson's a man. We were texting. He's a man child. He's just destroying it. Who's the kid? Daniil Hunter was good.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought they played so well. I was just disappointed. They didn't have enough offense in this game. So Texans, guess what? You may have lost. You're a little bit down. Get clubbed up. Have a good time. Show Jaden the ropes. Actually, he'll show you. He's been in there.
I think it was the first time in NFL history, by the way, that a team had lost a playoff game where they had outgained their opponent by 100 yards and didn't have any turnovers or something like that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So it was just insane.
Yeah, you give up 212 yards and you lose. You don't have any turnovers. That's unfathomable.
Yeah.
We should have also put. Sorry, we go back to the shed. We should have put Kylie Fairbairn. That guy. Good God, that guy was horrible. Anyway, Saquon Barkley. You have been in here many times. You have hopefully solidified Offensive Player of the Year, if not MVP. I mean, against the Rams, apparently all he does is run for long touchdowns. He had a 62-yarder,
yeah, I know,
a 78-yarder in this one. In the snow, he doesn't slide. I mean, my God, this guy's having fun out there. He's dominating, 205 yards in the game. The dude's a machine. Saquon, get back in there. You're gonna have your own plaque on the wall.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know what they're gonna do with Jalen Hurts. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just seems like he's really taken. I guess they're just winning the way they need to. That's going to be the
yeah.
answer. That when you say, "Hey," when you go to criticize him, but we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens.
We will see what happens. Let's get into college. You already alluded to the Ohio State victory. Congratulations, Ohio State. What an interesting football game. As I said, I put the money line for Notre Dame just because I'm like, come on. It was like 9.5 for Ohio State. What am I going to bet that? Come on. Apparently you should have. Because after that Notre Dame first drive, which was perfect, was like, oh, this is working out perfect. They scored a touchdown. It took 7 minutes off the clock. It's going to be great. Oh, no. Couldn't stop Ohio State. Couldn't stop them for, the next 3 quarters straight pretty much. And it was 31-7 at one point. The number closed at 9.5. And then Notre Dame makes this miraculous comeback. They played really good. Riley Leonard, who's the number one? Who's the the receiver, number one? You know that?
I
I can look
do.
this
He
up.
caught the
Yeah.
touchdown.
He caught 2 touchdowns.
It's like Newhouse or it's. I think it starts with an N.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, to your point, that first drive was just honestly, I thought the opposite of that first drive because I was like, oh my god, like there goes the only drive. Like that was way too perfect. Like it's probably only way downhill from here.
It's
When that
Jaden
actually
Great House, by the way.
Great House. Okay.
Great. Yeah, yeah. They ran Riley Leonard like what is it, like 8 times or something. He was just pummeled in that first drive. He was exhausted. You're right. It was, but they did what they needed to do. Kicked Tom off, scored, but then their defense just couldn't do it. Couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Will Howard was like perfect. What was he, like 15 for 15 at one point or something?
Yeah, I think he like the first half he was like 16 or 17 or something like that. Yeah, he played well.
But when they hit the second touchdown, granted they didn't go for a 4th down from like the 9-yard line. They kicked a field goal that donged off the upright. We were like, but then they come back and get the touchdown. They're within 8, baby. They got a shot. They get 3rd and 11. Obviously they were at their own 34-yard line. This was the game. Hey, if you stop them, you actually have a chance to tie this game. I hadn't ripped up the money line ticket I was going to. The under ticket, of course, was destroyed. And then they just hit the bomb to the kid. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is just, I don't know about you, dude. I know that this is like, well, it wouldn't have mattered. How do you blitz in that situation? It's 3rd and 11. Dude, if you want to blitz like a couple of guys, fine. They blitz the house, go one-on-one. I was like, that's not the way to do it. I mean, sit back at the stick, make them make a throw.
Wow. I mean, I think it's more of like a field position thing. Like they're trying to get the sack because they know that their offense needs as many yards as they can in the other direction.
Sure.
Like they're not going to be able to go, 70 yards. So it's much easier to go maybe 50. So I guess that's probably the thought process behind it, I would imagine.
Yeah. And obviously they and then they get the field goal to cover the number. I love it's like, oh my God, hilarious.
Yeah, Caesar took Ohio State minus the 8.5, and he's like, I almost lost that bet. He's like, after like a third quarter, I almost quit watching, and then we just kept watching. I was like, shit, I'm gonna lose this bet.
I know. That was significant to some, as they say.
Yeah.
But significant to you. You finished the season over 500. You came back. You clawed your way back, buddy. Congratulations.
32 and 2, baby. Yeah.
Hey, well, I think you were at like 28, 32 and 2 before the playoffs. So you had a nice close there. So good job.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say last year was like a year for the ages, apparently.
Yeah, it happens. Just like the rookie at the table, man. The kid just threw out of his mind. So
yeah, it was a contract year for me last year. That's what it was.
Right. All right. So down to the NFL divisional round. We've already alluded to the Chiefs getting tons of help and winning. Now, granted, one thing that we didn't talk about is Spagnuolo really, I don't say he won the game for him, but in the second, and especially the fourth quarter, he just unleashed the blitz. And because Houston wasn't running the ball anymore, he was just getting to Stroud and getting him out of sequence, and they were able to cover that number 23-14. Like, to me, it's like one of these situations. There's no way in the world. And look, they didn't cover the closing number of 9.5. I had 8.5, unfortunately. But you got to wait till game time apparently to get the run up on the Chiefs. But yeah, so they don't cover the main number. But I'm like, they shouldn't have covered this goddamn number, even the 8.5. But in fact, they did. And Worthy just fell short, dude. I was so pissed. He was half a yard short for the anytime touchdown, and he was like at 45 yards for 48 yards or 48.5. He did drop one in the backfield at one point, but it was all Kelsey. Kelsey took away all the yardage.
Yeah. No, and like to your point, the first drive out of the third quarter, the Texans got the ball, went right down and scored.
yeah.
I mean, they took like 10 minutes off the clock in the third quarter. Like
Yep.
they did exactly what they needed to do to keep, to get all that momentum back that they had just kind of lost from the missed kicks. And then of course Fairbairn misses the extra point. Yeah, and then there you go. So have a nice night.
That's a bag on the Hawaiians, but they kept saying he's from Hawaii. I'm like, yep, makes sense. He's not happy to be in this cold.
Yeah, he does not like kicking extra points in Kansas City. So he missed one earlier this year when they played like in week 15 or whatever too. Like same situation basically. They scored it they need an extra point to tie it and he misses. So
well, and then he missed the field goal. They were down by what was it, 11? Kicked the field goal, was like a 36-yarder, and he gets blocked. But if you looked at the replay, I don't think it was going to make it anyway. It was so low, like it was going to like hit somebody in the back of the head anyway. The guy was a bum, so they had multiple ways to cover the big number. The original number, not the closing number. So we talked about the defense for Detroit, but the Commanders, they came in and they just said, "We don't care. We're going to win this game. We don't care about your history, Lions, that you've never hosted an NFC Championship game. We don't care if you're the number 1 seed. We're just going to score at will." And they did. And Jane Daniels, as you said, was great. It's funny. Some people said 300 yards. My CBS app says 299, but he still played great. And your Gibbs hit, I mean, the thing is, he was amazing. Yeah. He had like 100 and whatever. He went over 150, I think 180 yards combined. Every time he got the ball, he was like gone. He was just electric. So I don't know what the hell happened. It was like, I know that Goff got hit in the face. Of course, they didn't call penalty on that pick 6, and he was knocked out a little bit. And they tried to run that trick play but I think they kind of panicked a little bit in Detroit.
No, I definitely agree. You kind of knew coming in that the turnover battle was going to be very important for Detroit if they were going to win games, and they were losing the turnover battle rather quickly. The highest second quarter scoring in NFL history for a playoff game. Yeah. So crazy. Shout out to, I think it was like 28-14 in the second quarter or 21. Something like that. They had like 40 points. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was, I hope he took the over in this game. That's all I got to say.
I didn't, but it's okay. I didn't really bet this game much, unfortunately. So I was watching it and being like, I can't believe this is happening.
I haven't sent you the Twitter. I haven't sent you the tweet that said that you should have taken the Commanders money line.
Oh, I know. It wasn't just you. I heard it all week. Don't worry. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking, because it would have been.
I don't know how you could say this is your guy when you keep betting against him,
I just thought that this was going to be the week. No, we'll talk later if this is the week, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously in the dome, perfect conditions, everything can happen basically. The other thing I would say in the Detroit side, like, okay, your defense is suspect. We all know this. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, they couldn't do anything right. They didn't really stop the run either, right? They didn't stop anything. Like, pick something. Stop the pass, stop the run. So, but don't worry, Aaron Glenn will be fine with the Jets. We talked about Saquon with the Eagles dominating. Him and Hurts combined for 284 yards rushing, because Hurts had that big 44-yarder, to start off the game. And I was kind of like, I wasn't watching much of the game. I was playing volleyball. I was driving back. And I'm like, oh, they're up 28-15. This game's in the bag. Oh, no, not yet. Not yet.
Nope.
Don't worry. We're going to play prevent defense and let the Rams go right down the field and then the second time that they go down and they're inside the 30, and all I can hear is Dalton going, 60-1, 60-1. But you got to tell Jalen Carter that, because he just blew up that one play and got the pressure on the final play to really end the game 28-22. This was a very important, which number did you get? Because it was like 5.5, 6 most of the week. It goes up to 6.5. So they don't cover the closing number, but they cover the early week number in this game.
Yeah. And Sean McVay didn't get named a finalist for Coach of the Year today. So that's tough. There goes that ticket. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. It's okay. There's next year. And then the Bills, we kind of talked about Mark Andrews like fumbling the ball a little bit. This was another turnover game. So on the weekend, basically the winning teams didn't turn the ball over, I think, at all weekend. But the teams that lost, it was like minus 11 or something for the weekend. So
Yeah.
3 turnovers for Baltimore. They do it again, and it just sucks. They're such a good football team. You cannot trust them in the big game. I just don't. Is it Lamar? Is it John Harbaugh? What's the deal? What do you think the deal is?
I just don't think they can get out of their own way. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it really boils down to is no one refutes the talent on this team. Like they can match
Right.
up with anybody. They can play any kind of style they want. They've got, one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the league. You can arrange them however you want to. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a psychological thing or, just again, it's a very simple game. Don't beat yourself. That's what Belichick always talked about. So that's why the Bills won the game. Honestly, is because they got the turnovers and they got very conservative. Like I think Josh Allen only threw 3 passes the whole game, more than 10 yards down the field.
Right. He didn't have to do much. I mean, it was really
Patrick Mahomes
interesting.
didn't either. He only threw for like 170 yards. Josh Allen only threw for like 150, and yet these guys are.
Well,
Jalen Hurts only threw for like 80 something.
I think it was 130, 25 yards, but still, you're right. Like the thing is that if you took, not that they obviously couldn't take Kelsey out of the game, you take Kelsey out of the game, he's throwing for like 25 yards. I mean, it was like he's only throwing to one guy out there. I mean, Worthy got 45 yards, but a lot of it was behind the line and he was running. It wasn't even down the field. I mean, Hollywood Brown did drop like a bomb, but yeah, it was every single one of the games. The winner was outgained in the game, and that just yards per play and total yardage. So it was a really bizarre situation. So I don't feel as bad about losing most of these games because it was like the better team in theory should have probably won. But it was, when Detroit loses, do you remember the game earlier this year when they played Houston and they had like 4 or 5 turnovers?
Yeah, I had 5
And
picks.
they ended up winning, but they did get a pick 6 of Stroud. Like the defense picked it up at some point and flipped the game. They just never could do it against Washington, right? So I thought that the Ravens were going to somehow squeak this one out and then probably shit themselves in Kansas City. But like you watched Lamar, he was like running around making plays. They finally started running Henry. He was making plays. It was like, I don't know. He just needed another minute of the game or 2 minutes of the game. If I would have won the game, but that happens.
Yeah.
So that sets up our Final Four this weekend for Championship Sunday. We've got Commanders at the Eagles. We've got Bills and the Chiefs. Another aside, I think I sent you the text. When I tried to watch the Bills game at Four Shadows, official bar of the podcast, obviously they made a good move and it was a timely move. They're a Bills bar now. And of course, I knew it was going to be tough showing up around game time to get a seat. But oh my God, it was like, if that bar is supposed to hold 120, there's 160 people in there. It was more crowded than my birthday party in there. And I was just like, I guess I'll leave. I'm like, Phil, let's go to O'Donovan's because it was just insane in there. So, a little word to the wise, if you're thinking about doing a Super Bowl there, if the Bills are in it, good luck. If
Get there early.
They aren't in it, yeah. So I won't be watching Championship Sunday at Four Shadows either. So anyway, Commanders at Eagles. Eagles are now a 6-point favorite at home, 48-point total. It ticked up. It was open at 5.5. So there's money going on the Eagles in theory, but I don't understand this move, dude, because all I can see is Washington money coming to the market. So they must be holding it for teasers or money line parlays or something. Because if I look at how this money, it must be they're waiting for the sharp money to come in. They're going to be like you to allude to your pick. But anyway, I'm not going to go against Daniels this time. I am going to, we know what I have to do because of my future situation. I have the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. So I've got to bet, I got to bet the money line this week instead of last week.
Yeah.
But I do think the Eagles will win the football game. I don't think they're going to lose this one. It's going to be big brother, little brother. They're going to kind of beat the hell out of them at some point. I just think backdoor's still open with 6, especially if it gets done up to 6.5 later.
That's fair. I mean, I could see that too, but I'm going Eagles here. There's a couple different reasons. The first reason is when Washington had the comeback win against Philadelphia, they won the turnover battle 5-0 that game, or maybe it was 5-1. So you're probably not going to get that again. Number 2, the Washington lost their best offensive lineman in the last game against Detroit, so that's probably not going to help when you're playing one of the best defensive lines, in the league coming up this game.
Yeah.
And then like kind of the third factor, which you alluded to a minute ago, like Jaden Daniels hasn't really played January football sites. Like he played in
No.
Tampa, he played indoor, and
Correct.
now he's going outside to Philadelphia, where if it's not snowing, it's at least going to be cold and shitty. So
Right.
he played his college ball in Louisiana, where I guess it did snow down there this year, but normally it doesn't snow in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
Tempe, Arizona
um,
State before that. Sure. He's from
yeah.
LA, right? Yeah.
So I just think the Eagles are, to your point, I just think they're the more physical team. I think it just matches up really well, and as long as the Eagles don't beat themselves, I don't see them having any trouble handling the Commanders. I really thought their hardest game would be the Rams, just because they have
Mm-hmm.
kind of the quarterback matchup, I think, to deal with the Eagles.
Balanced attack. And we'll get to the picks in a minute. There's tons of money on the over as well, like tons of it. Like 83% of the money is on the over. And I'm sitting here like the Eagles did get over last week, barely. Of course, the kicking didn't help that, but they did get over. But they're gonna. This is what I thought Detroit screwed up. If you're gonna play Washington, you know this has this dynamic offense. They're gonna try to keep the ball fourth down. Why don't you keep away from them? Make them have to throw the ball. Make Jaden Daniels have to make amazing throws down the field, and basically squeeze them down into a 3-quarter game instead of a 4th-quarter game. Then you basically play right in their hands, and that's what I thought Detroit would do with their running game. But they decided to just run with them. Let's just keep scoring with them up and down the field, and it didn't work out. So I like Daniels rushing and passing, which is at 280.5 under -115. Even in the game where they won, like you said, with the 5 turnovers, he got over this number. But it took, the final couple drives to do it. Because you remember, it was like they scored in they had 3 touchdowns in their last 3 drives after Hurts got hurt. So I like under in this one for Daniels, 280, and that's rushing and passing.
Yeah, no, I like that too. I would take the under in this game. I think Washington's going to have a hard time scoring the ball. Nakobe Dean being hurt does, I guess, play a little bit in the Washington's favor. But again, with losing your best offensive lineman, this is probably the worst time to do that, honestly.
Yeah. And then I do like Eckler though over his yardage, passing yardage, receiving yardage prop 25.5. That's -110 because I think there's going to be a lot of dump offs because they're going to have to avoid the pressure. What about AJ Brown? He's been on a milk carton for like 2 games, and obviously Hurts hasn't thrown the ball. He had a huge game in the first matchup, and then last matchup it wasn't as good. His prop is 61.5. I like it over, dude. I think he's going to finally have a game because I don't think the back end for Washington's any good. So I'm thinking about laddering him up. His 74.5 over receiving yards is +148. So he might be my ladder of the week.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't needed him. That's the thing. They just been pummeling everybody. They just been running the ball. I think the colder it's gotten, the more they run it. So I think that one's a little risky. I do like the logic behind it. He does have success. Even when Tanner McKee was playing, AJ Brown was still having decent games. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think the weather is going to be a big factor of that, though.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, in both matchups against Washington, Saquon had 150 yards rushing. So,
yeah,
of course, he's still going to get his. It's just whether he's going to get his big breakout. If you bet his over longest rushing props in the last 2 weeks, it's just like it's insane, dude. I mean, like he blasted through it each time. So, okay, so we talked about that. We both like the Eagles overall. I probably still would take points, and I think it's going to get bet up to like 6.5, 7. I'm going to wait to see if I get the best number. But again, for my, I got to do the money line. Got to hedge. Jimmy hedged in the third. Bills Chiefs. I should have said that first game is at 2 p.m. Central on Sunday. Bills Chiefs. Chiefs are 2-point favorites at home. 47.5 point total. This is at 5:30 p.m. Central on CBS. The other game's on Fox. So look, I know Kansas City is a smart money, but I just can't do it. I can't bet on this team. I cannot bet on this football team. Not only do they not cover, and this isn't a big number, obviously, but I don't know, man. And I know the Bills defense is suspect. I'm not stupid. I see the metrics. But why is everybody betting the Bills? I'm like, it's 73% of the money's on the Bills plus the 2. I mean, did they read the article? I figured everybody would be on the Chiefs. It seems like all the experts are talking about the Chiefs, so I'm a little confused by this right now. I figure the money's going to pour in on the Chiefs as it gets closer because they're the favorite. And then the under in this one. So that's 83% of the money. I think you and I both are on the over on this one, right?
I had the over on this one. I had the under in the
Yeah.
first game. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
this is an. I think this is an over game. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
This smells like an over game to me.
Yeah. So James Cook hasn't had great outings against this team last time they played because Josh Allen took the ball mostly. But I really think he's going to have a big game. I mean, at least you would think they would follow the template set up by our guy Joe Mixon, who had a huge game. 55.5 yards isn't that many. That's his prop at minus 115. I like the over there. And if you get up to 74.5, it's 2 plus 255. His
Hmm.
total yards receiving and rushing is only 79.5 plus 123. I like that too. So, and I do like the Josh Allen anytime TV minus 124.
I think Dalton Kincaid might be the guy to get some props on Buffalo as well. I think
Okay.
he's kind of like the X factor for Buffalo. Everybody thinks it's Shakir. I mean, Shakir's a good wide receiver, but I
Sure.
think Kincaid is the guy on this offense that, when push come to shove, if they need a first down, everybody thought that's what they got Amari Cooper for, but he's been
Hmm.
invisible too.
He's
So
been
no,
nothing. Yeah, it's weird.
I think Dalton Kincaid is the guy to watch.
Right. Mahomes always, I don't know if he broke his rushing prop last week. He broke his longest rush prop, but 24.5 seems reasonable because he always, in these big games, he's always rushing the ball for minus 120. What about Kareem Hunt? He's their short, they don't, Jacko doesn't score touchdowns anymore. It's always Kareem Hunt. So his anytime is plus 175. 2 touchdowns for Kareem Hunt rushing, or it doesn't matter. Either way, plus 1,300. That's worth a little cheddar cheese. I like that.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think Pacheco is still coming back from his injury too. I think the
Yeah.
Super Bowl if they make the Super Bowl, I think would be a good time to get in on the Pacheco train because I think an extra week to get him rested up and everything. But yeah, I mean, Kareem Hunt has been, I mean, from the moment he got plugged in, he's been pretty good.
It's been good. Can you get on board with me with Kelsey under his yardage prop? I mean,
Mm,
after last week, do you think that the Bills are going to let him beat him? There's no way, right?
I don't know. I
I
just
mean,
think
his
they can
his
find ways
prop
to
is
get him open.
68.5. That's minus 114. If you get him under 49.5 yards, plus 210. Look, if I was McDermott, I would just, and that's what I was saying with Houston. It's like, just throw 2 guys at him. He's got to throw to Worthy or somebody else out there. Noah Gray. Um, I know in the red zone when things break down, he's going to find Kelsey, but those are shorter throws. I mean, yardage wise, I can't imagine. I mean, I guess he's going to go for 70 again. I just can't believe it. So.
That's fair.
Well, what about this game? So you don't think Buffalo has a shot?
I think they have a shot. I just think Kansas City finds a way. They're
Typical.
inevitable. Yeah, they're inevitable. They are truly inevitable. I think everybody is on the Buffalo train, and I just, as much as I hope Buffalo wins, but I think
Yeah,
this is the old adage of betting with your heart or your head. Everybody's betting
yeah,
with their heart right now and not with their
right.
head.
So if they win, will you break a table? Will you break a table with the Mafia guys?
Yeah, we can put you through a table. I'd be down for that. Yeah, we can do it right there on the kitchen table. Yeah, there we
I
go.
don't want to break
Boom.
this one. I got a nice plastic one I could break. Um, Here's the thing. It's game script dependent. I know that we were talking about Mahomes, best player in the league, even though he won't win MVP. It's just at some point this dynasty will stop, right? So is it today? Is it in 2 weeks? Is it in a year? Um, I guess they were sandbagging throughout the season, and they obviously got a pretty easy path here. They only have to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I wish the Bills defense was better. If the Bills defense was better, I'd be all on the Bills. I did recommend the Bills plus the points. I didn't think everybody would take that right now. I'm surprised, but on paper they're just so much better. It's so infuriating. If the Chiefs end up winning the Super Bowl, like I told you last week, they are like
Are they
you'd be
so
the
much
second.
better? Are they?
Metrically, they are, dude. I mean, it's not
I
really that
don't know.
close. I'll run it. Let's run through it. I mean, we've
I
got
mean,
time.
I'm just sitting here thinking of players on each team, and it's like I can
Yeah,
name probably like if we did like a top 10 list, I would say it's like
yeah.
6-4 at best, if not 7-3.
Well, you're thinking players, but let's just, and again, we know that
And they get the better head coach.
this factors in the 38-0 beat down by the Broncos. But
Mm.
things happen. The Chiefs, do you know their yards per game for the season? On offense, do you know how many yards per? They
Probably like
327, 327.6.
okay.
Okay, 330. The Buffalo's at 360, 359.1. They're better. They're better. I mean, they're a better offense. I mean, there's no question there. They're a better offense, right?
Some of that's got to do with their schedule. Like the AFC East is
Mm-hmm.
crappier defenses than the West, I would say. But
Okay.
okay, I see your point.
many
You think
points
30
per
yards is the
game?
difference?
How many points per game were the Chiefs worse than the Bills this year on offense?
Oh, probably like 5 or 6 points, if
Yeah,
not.
it's 8. It's
Yeah, I was gonna say.
22.6 to 30.9,
Yeah, I
right?
think they led the
So
league in scoring, didn't they? The Bills.
I think it was still
Oh no, it's still
Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah, you're right. You're
But
right.
you're right. So then when we flip, the defensive metrics are certainly better for the Chiefs, right? They're 320.6 per game versus 341.5. But points per game is pretty close, 19.2 versus 21.6. That's pretty close. So the point differential is large, though. It's 9 points, 9.3 to 3.4. Obviously, we all know the Chiefs were always in these one-score games.
Yeah.
So the other thing is the turnovers, dude. Now, granted, Kansas City didn't turn the ball over last week. Good job. It was kind of shocking given how much pressure was on him, Mahomes. But the Bills, 24 to plus 24, number one in the league in turnover
Yeah.
differential. And the Chiefs plus 6. They ended up getting above for the last couple of games. So I don't know what metrics I'm looking at that they're better besides essentially points or yards per game, right? So I hear what you're saying with the players, but I don't know. Backyard football, you know who'd win, right? I think the Bills would win, but obviously you've got an official in there. You're going to make sure that they've got whatever and scheme and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm not trying to change your pick at all. I'm just obviously I'll be rooting for the Bills like everybody else in America. Hopefully that it's over, and so on. So anyway, why don't you do your picks first since I already kind of talked too much? All right.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm taking Philly minus the 6, Kansas City minus the 2. I'm taking the over in the Kansas City Buffalo game at 47.5. I'm taking the under 48 in the Washington Philly game.
Nice. Well, I'm still going to stick with I can't take the Chiefs. I mean, I have to bet that money line because of my James Hedgerton, the sixth position, but I'm still Bills, brother. Plus 2.
Yeah.
I'm underdog central. Washington plus the 6.
Nice.
Mind you, I'm going to wait on that because I think it's going to go up to 7.5, or maybe not 7.5. Probably get to 7 in that game. I think the Buffalo game, what's going to happen is if Chiefs start getting the money, I could get a better number, right? 2.5 maybe. But I do like these other bets. I like the Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown plus 175, and the 2 touchdowns plus 1,300, and Eckler over 25.5 receiving yards minus 110. So
there it is.
Exactly. I'm protecting those plus 600 money lines, or Super Bowl futures. So that's what I want to see.
Well, I did have a future on the Super Bowl for matchup for Chiefs and Eagles at plus 950. So
that's good. That's really good. And that doesn't matter who wins, right?
No, I just need those 2 teams to play.
That's awesome. That's good. And you got a good chance at that one. That's a really good one. So those are the favorites.
I took that in the beginning of the playoffs, I think. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah.
So you're going to feel better. You already decided you're going to get some chicken soup and sweat it out. But you're supposed to go to the Blackhawks game tomorrow?
Yeah. Yeah, they play the Lightning. So
all right. You think
hopefully
it'll be
that'll
up
work
for
out. I'm hoping. I'm due for another round of medication here as soon as we wrap up. But yeah, I'll be a trooper. Like I said, I got some NyQuil today. I didn't have any NyQuil last night, so I got a feeling I'm gonna get at least some better sleep tonight. So.
And then you got bowling on Sunday?
Yeah, we're doing there's a tournament here in town that we're doing. Yeah, your boy shot 717 at league Tuesday night, so that's pretty good for 3 games. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
I had back-to-back 240 games. I think it went like 247, 248 or something like that. Yeah.
So you guys, I'm assuming you guys won again.
Yeah, we haven't lost a point in a month. We're literally 28-0 in the last 4 weeks. So
you're like the Chiefs. You're inevitable.
Yeah. Well, we're making up ground. So we're doing what we need to do. We're just taking care of business. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. I'll be doing well, first of all, I'm waiting to hear. I know that he doesn't listen to the pod this late, but I'm waiting to hear if Action had his second kid. I know that kid was due last week, so I think they're slow with the pictures. So I want to give them some time and hopefully get that announcement. Tomorrow, some OGs from the pod like Milos, Jimmy Milos. I don't know if you remember. You Milos? You ever met Milos? My buddy Milos?
I think so, yeah.
So we find they're getting him out of hibernation. He's going to come to the big city. We're going to hit Pequod's Pizza. Me and Johnny U hit Pequod's tomorrow night. I haven't been there in a while, so kind of an annual tradition for Johnny and I to have dinner for our birthdays. His birthday is actually about 7 days now. But we're going to do dinner tomorrow at Pequod's, and then I'm going to Jake's birthday on. Oh, I hope he doesn't listen. Anyway, there's a party of some kind on Saturday that I'll be attending at Cody's, and then Championship Sunday, dude. So
Nice.
it's pretty exciting.
There it is. Yeah, we got a jam-packed weekend.
Jam-packed weekend, and then in 2 weeks I'll be in Costa Rica. I'll have to figure out how to recap the Super Bowl, but or no, preview the Super Bowl. So yeah, next week I think, just FYI, hopefully you can do some. We should probably throw a little college basketball, or if you want to do some hockey, we'll start doing other sports since there's only one more football game to go, and we've got a week off. We're not going to preview the Pro Bowl or the Senior Bowl, so let's talk about that next week, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
You need some sleep for sure. All right, well, follow me at Wegs School on X on Instagram. Follow us at Side Action Pod on X and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Don't forget about TikTok, which is back, baby.
Yeah, all the way back. It's not going anywhere. I'm not fucking leaving. So, yeah. So I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all the socials, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm sure you'll find us, and the YouTube page, right? Yeah, we got a YouTube, so check that out.
YouTube channel, baby.
Yeah, however you like to listen to us, we always do appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, feel better, pal.
Oh yeah.
I feel bad. I'm gonna get a haircut tomorrow as well. This mane is gonna be trimmed down to normal. So you probably won't recognize me, but
yeah, I'm trying to have that Art Murphy mentality. Just gonna keep grinding.
God. Friggin' horseshoe. Blue horseshoe loves
nice.
Artemis Prime.
There it is.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Love you guys.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Side Action Podcast. We appreciate all of your listens, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you all again next week on Thursday for some more hot picks and side action. Side Action Podcast, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the show hosts or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of this podcast, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. Individuals following the advice given on the podcast accept their own risk of losses from wagers made. As the Side Action Podcast, its owners, hosts, associates, or guests will not guarantee any advice given. The opinions and advice given on the Side Action Podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Intro and outro and transition music credits. Song titles Jerry 5 and District 4 by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.org. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. creativecommons.org/licenses/by 3.0.